106. I welcome you all, and I appreciate that you have attended this class. We actually have noted numbers today. I think this semester so far, we haven't had more than 3 students attending the online session. So your presence is appreciated. Thank you, Zemzem. Thank you, Primonia. Matapelo, as usual. Matapelo, she's always on time. She was even here before me, and even on Tuesday, I think she was here before I logged in. And thank you, KB. It's been a while, and I see that this week you're on fire. I hope you can hear me since you say that you're going to be back in 5 minutes. So, guys, as you can see, we are nearing the end of the semester and the end of the year, and maybe the last time we are also going to be, shying away from each other. We are in August, as you can see. I know some of you already are planning your December holidays. Some of you are planning your December events and stuff like that. So time is really moving. And by now, you should have learned a lot in digital marketing. At the end of this year, you actually need to recap on everything that you have learned in digital marketing. And then you ask yourself whether it is worth it, whether it was worth it or not. Because there are lots of things that we have discussed together. As you can see now, we are on lesson 106. So it means that we've done around 106 lessons related to digital marketing, but not only digital marketing, but also life issues, especially Mjolo, those who are into Mjolo, life issues, especially family, because sometimes we do touch on these things whenever they are related to digital marketing. So we continue with delivering customer experience. Remember, we discussed that treatment determines the level of experience you have with something. So how you are treated, determines the kind of experience you are getting from it. So be it an iPhone that you have, you can never brag about that iPhone if it doesn't treat you good in terms of its picture quality or in terms of its reliability, its convenience, and so on. So the way you are treated, good or bad, would determine the experience that you're going to get out of it. Be it in relationships, even from your family members, the way your sister, your brother will treat you will determine the experience that you have with you. That's why you hear people most often, they say that we learn from experience. I learned from that experience. I won't do it again. If it was a bad experience, I would do it again if it was a good experience. So it is the same thing that we have been discussing in terms of brands. The way brands they treat us can determine whether you are going to go back to them, to buy again, to refer others, to engage and interact with them, or if the treatment was bad, then it means that the experience was bad. We are never going to go back to them. We're actually going to go to their competitors. So that's how it has always been. So we discussed digital platforms because we are doing digital marketing, and you can never discuss digital marketing without including digital assets such as websites, social media platforms, emails, and mobile applications. So we have been talking about websites. How websites treat people online determines the level of the experience that they get with a brand. So, for example, if you go to a website and the page keeps loading, you want to apply or you want to buy something or you want to connect with a user on Instagram and it keeps loading, it ends up frustrating you, Then all of a sudden you end up going where the pages are very fast, the images are loading fast, the URL is identifiable, they did a good prototype, those are the things that we have been discussing. So here I'm just giving a context of what we've been doing throughout these past few weeks so that KB and Zem can benefit on this. So today we are going to then look at localization. We are going to look at localization We are going to look at cultural customization and how they can enhance the customer experience, how they can enhance the treatment that customers desire. You know, we have got big companies in South Africa that are from other countries, those that we call multinational organization. Your Coca-Cola, those are not South African companies. They operate in multiple countries. Your BMW, your Harvard, your Apple. These are multinational organizations that are available in all countries. So do they need to understand local content, local cultures to give you guys as customers a better treatment? That's what you are going to look at. And it always helps. I've seen in South Africa, be it in the in the entertainment industry, as well as in relationships, individuals are empowered to be themselves, are empowered to express themselves compared to other nationalities, other countries where I've been to. It's always difficult. Here you can come across a Pedi girl dating a Zulu girl, and that Pedi girl is not forced to speak Zulu in order to make the relationship work, or that Zulu guy is not forced to speak Pedi in order to make that relationship work. They can still freely speak their languages and at the same time, understand each other, hear each other well. I've also seen in the entertainment industry, whereby there are collaborations or people acting beauty or soapies like Uzalo or The Queen or House of Zwide. You actually see another character, speaking in Setswana, then someone speaking in Xhosa, yet they are married in that fictional setup and they do understand each other. I don't know, guys, if I'm saying something that you resonate with.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm. But for me, I've never been in that situation. Wakoma in Ndebele, I have to be forced to learn Ndebele. Maybe that's how I know more languages. Like I speak a number of languages because most of them I learned them from relationship because the lady could not speak my language. Then, because I'm the one who wants her, I then have to learn her language. So it means that I am diluting my language to understand hers. So companies must brand, dilute their identity so that our customer have that feel of belonging, having that sense of belonging. That's what we're going to discuss today. And it doesn't have to be multinational organizations. Even local companies, if you are a company with Afrikaner background, do you have to think about the Ndebele culture? Do you have to think about the Tswana culture in order to give your Tswana customers a sense of belonging? Because that surely, creates a good experience and a sense of good treatment. So at the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand localization and its impact on customer experience. You should be able to understand cultural customization and its impact on customer experience. I forgot to ask, guys, can you see my screen? Can everyone see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you, Zemzem. So realize that the terms that we are going to come across is localization, globalization, localization, cultural customization, and social responsibility. Are there any words that you feel like it's your first time to hear them on this screen? Which word do you feel like you'd struggle to describe or to understand?
I've never heard localization.
Localization.
Mm.
Okay. Abanye lithini? Okay, so as you can see, localization is the combination of localization and globalization. But we are going to discuss this, as this lesson progresses. So, guys, how can digital marketers localize content to resonate with diverse cultures while maintaining global brand identity? Do you think it's necessary to localize content, guys?
So relevance is important as a digital marketer for you to be able
Hmm.
to personalize your messaging to the specific market that you are targeting that is outside your region. So it is important for you to actually understand the culture behind that region and get to know more in order for you to be able to get their attention.
Thank you so much, Ngamo. That's very true. Relevance, people, customers, they have to feel that you understand them, you know where they come from, you know how they do things before you just want to transact with them and get money out of them. So, yes, that's correct. Humphrey, welcome to class. I hope you can hear me and I hope you can see the screen. I see your mic is on. Okay, relevance. Perfect. Then, what cultural factors should be considered in digital campaigns, and how can ignoring them affect customer experience? Should you think about culture at all, guys, in our campaigns?
So I felt like you, in order for you to not seem disrespectful or inappropriate to with your messaging, um, cultural factors are important for you to know. The diversification of um, the different cultures within a country, like South Africa, with how many languages?
Hmm.
12 languages. Each has their own history, culture, and all of that. So a study of those different cultures is very important for you to not be seeming inappropriate, because in some instances you might be saying one thing but on another it may seem disrespectful or so inappropriate, or for example with the LGBTQI plus community, if you would prefer them as he or she yet they are considered as they, for example, you stepping onto the wrong toes already, and that might bring a whole um, debate, or actually be and resulting in being cancelled. So yeah, I think I've answered you.
Especially in this today's environment, whereby whenever something, whenever someone does something, especially non-figures and non-brands, the quick response to it is to cancel them. Have you realized that, guys? Right now, if
Yes,
I
that's true.
right now if I make a mistake, right now as a lecturer, if I make a mistake, the quickest way for people be to make sure that I lose my employment. I don't know why we are like that as human beings. Instead of giving me another chance, if instead of understanding that I'm a human being, instead of understanding that I make mistakes, the more maybe sometimes you also have more mistakes than I, but it's just because you are not a public figure, you are not a this and that. But I've seen that mostly whenever, so I'm not saying it's a wrong thing, but whenever something happens, we are just quick to cancel it, boycott and cancel it. Even if it's someone's bread and butter, we don't care. So I do understand what Nkamo is saying. You know, when we look at the customers, the strategies that we come up with, the marketing campaigns that we come up with, the digital platforms that we use, we need to know that we are targeting people with an identity. We are not just targeting wild animals or people with who come from nowhere. We are targeting people who have got an identity, who have got relatives, people who have got, lives, not people just came from the bush. So you need to understand what those people are made of so that you do not come across as disrespectful to them, but you come across as someone who actually understands them and their needs, other than just promoting, products or brands to them. And sometimes ignorance, sometimes not like you are being disrespectful. Sometimes ignorance can also cost your brand. If you have got lack of knowledge on people's culture, for example, it can cost your brand because them immediately cancel you because you do not understand what she is made of. And arguably, if you look at what is happening with the Chidima thing, it was a matter of her, to some extent, not appreciating or taking the South African cultures to another level, but in fact being more aligned with the Nigerian culture, for example. So she did not localize herself that much to an extent that if she did that, chances are that people could not even have started this citizenship saga and stuff like that. I don't know what's your take on this thing, guys, but this can be debated. When you have got people who have got localized themselves, like Konichi woman, I told you guys that she's of Malawian origin, but she localized herself. She could speak South African languages, and most people could not even know where she's originally from because she localized, and people felt that sense of belonging that this one is one of us. Brands also need to do that. We need to feel that they are one of us. They are not against us. If it's Coca-Cola, yes, they might have originated from America or from England, but they are one of us. They serve us. They understand us. They know our dietary needs. They know our names and stuff like that. Because ignorance can be costly. The same thing if it's something to do with Ndebele women or Zulu women, you cannot just dismiss that they've got cultural norms or practices that make them go to Umhlanga or to read, because they can suddenly cancel if you ignore that. I know that there was a big campaign on YouTube whereby there were YouTubers with uh, millions of followers who were uh, having a biography of the Ndebele people. And in some of their videos, they were having women who are topless. Then YouTube, as a result, sends that as a violation of its platform policy, because being topless in the Western world, it's nudity. You know, so they were ignorant of the local cultures in South Africa. That in South Africa, actually, there are some even right now who are practicing that, who are going topless. And it's considered normal with them. So all of a sudden we had this protest, and lucky enough, YouTube was quick to act, and it eliminated that. It just had to give that viewer discretion, saying that this content that you're about to view may offend others, but they let them post their topless women. So these are the things that you need to understand, that you can be an American brand, but when you serve in another country, recognize the cultures and the values of that. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I hope I didn't attack topless women here. Then all of a sudden I'm trending on TikTok. And I should be scared. There are people here like Abu Matape, Abu Zemzem, who have got more than 20 followers. One message in here, I'm gone. Zemzem.
Yeah, sir, no. Remember, there's also a puppy act. So whatever you say, because I signed that contract of being part of BMH and stuff, it can
Mm.
be used against me.
Yeah, at least you know. But some wouldn't care about that. Anyway, guys, let's look at localization. Localization involves adapting marketing content, products, and strategies to meet the specific language, cultural norms, and preferences of a target market in a particular region. So it doesn't necessarily mean in South Africa, guys. South Africa has also has got some companies that are operating in other countries, like Nando's, like MTN, like Shoprite. You know that, guys, Shoprite is also in other countries? Guys, do you know that MTN is in other countries?
Yes, Shoprite is in Nigeria. Also, MTN is in Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they are also in Malawi, in Zambia, there's so Shoprite. You see, but the fact that Shoprite is a South African company, it doesn't mean that Shoprite has to go to Nigeria or has to go to Zambia or has to go to Malawi and start imposing the South African culture on them because it's a South African company. It needs to localize its content in Nigeria. So it includes translating text, modifying visuals, adjusting messaging, and considering local customers and regulations. Sometimes even with advertising, MTN and Shoprite cannot use South African influencers to, in Nigeria. No, they need to look for local people who are influential in Nigeria, who are going to speak fluently in Nigerian languages in order to tap into their target market. So the goal of localization is to create a more personalized and relevant. Remember, guys, at the beginning, Kamo spoke about relevance and relevance experience for customers, thereby increasing engagement, building trust, and improving the overall effectiveness of marketing efforts in diverse markets. So localization allows brands to connect with customers on a deeper level by addressing their specific cultural and linguistic needs, which can significantly enhance customer experience, build brand loyalty, and improve market penetration. So, in competitive markets, failure to localize can lead to misunderstandings, reduced engagement, and even brand damage. Therefore, while not mandatory, like it's not a forced method to localize, honestly, localization is a crucial strategy for business looking to effectively expand and uh, operate internationally. I think I've come across President Ramaphosa in the parliament and on other platforms mentioning that the suit that he's wearing, he has been done locally, which is a good thing coming from a national leader, encouraging South African to get local stuff, to support local businesses, which is good. But we see that most of the leaders, instead of leading by example, they would get things elsewhere while it's promoting things within a country. For example, you are the president of the country, the suit that you are wearing was from America, the shoes are Chinese, your kids are studying abroad. When you are not feeling well, you go to an overseas hospital. What are you saying about the local staff that you are leading as a leader? So those are things that you also need to think about. Localization goes beyond the marketing content. Also suppliers. If you are KFC, are you considering local suppliers? Because that can always step up in the marketing departments. Customers can boycott that you are not getting local chickens, as an American brand, and you are not going to buy from you. And it becomes very difficult for marketing people to sell KFC because KFC is not using local suppliers. So it is a broad, thing. Though we also need to understand the impact of globalization on this, especially when something is scarce or when something is of poor quality. For example, let's say Oppo is a South African phone and then Apple is a global phone. And you are forcing people to buy local Oppo. because the South African brand. You also need to understand that Oppo must have its qualities. You cannot just do something because it is local. Oppo needs to compete at the level of Apple in order for people to consider buying it. So sometimes you force people to do local stuff. You hear someone, hey, support our business, support our this and that. But when you look at that business, you actually see that it's actually difficult to support this business. I'd rather go to those businesses that are local. Even at church, you hear the elders, hey, you guys must date within the church. You do not have to fall in love with someone else. You need to date within the church. Then you look at the church. Yo, amantombazana akhona abagezi. Like, hayibo. Let me go and find for a partner elsewhere. Yes, Matape.
Sir, sir, sorry to disturb you. I want to ask, is this the reason why, like, I'm thinking about something, because being on social media, you get to be exposed to a lot of things. So is this the reason why KFC in for example, KFC in Nigeria, they sell jollof fries? Is it because they wanna be like local, because jollof fries is like pap to them? It's like
Yes,
pap for us.
yes.
Like every household, they will be eating pap and rah, rah, rah. But is it because I was like confused why they selling jollof fries? Because like I was really confused.
Yes, they are tapping into the local market. That's completely true, Matapelo. They are actually telling them that we are not a foreign company. We are here to understand what you eat, and we can also, compromise and have one of your dishes, on our menu. For example, I don't know if you go to America. Can you find two streetwise pub in America at KFC?
Nope.
I don't think so. So pub is being localized. I see most food outlets are also providing a quota. You cannot talk about quota without talking about Soweto, honestly. I think quota is more like a Soweto, origin than anything else. What do you think, guys? The quota is Puma.
I don't know where you got the Puma, but say there's one company that I'm like, as a traveler, I know that like their menus, like it's their menu. I feel like their menu, they don't even add other stuff. It's Nando's, sir.
Hmm.
I have
Okay.
once had Nando's in out of Mzansi, and the menu, it's like, yes, the taste is not the same. It's not exactly the same, but the menu say
Hmm.
there's no other put in, multiply, subtraction, nothing.
Hmm. Okay. Maybe it's also part of their branding strategy. You never know. But I do get you, Matape. Remember, you have to think about the pros and cons when doing these things. You can't just localize for the sake of it, or you can't just not localize for the sake of it. You also need to think about the value this is going to have, in your business and your marketing. So I do understand that. Lindiwe, welcome to the class. Are there any questions so far, guys? So sometimes, while you are on localization, sometimes you realize that people also do both. So they combine local content with global content. So if there's something that is trending globally, you'd also put it in your marketing messaging to show your customers that you are also well aware of things that are happening outside of South Africa. So you can't be fully local, honestly, especially in this era whereby we are living in the global village. You cannot just localize. You also need to bring some elements of events that are happening elsewhere. Otherwise, you'll be seen as someone who does not follow international trends, or who is not upping up the local products with international standards. The same way you guys would do. You buy on Shein, you buy on Tem. Those are global, brands. But you also buy locally, honestly. Don't you guys buy at Superbalist? Don't you guys buy at local shops? So realize that when I look at your wardrobes, you still have some local stuff and you also have some global stuff. So we call that glocalization. Yes, Nkamo.
So is it wise for all companies, especially that are multi, those that are
Multinational.
international,
Yes.
multinational, yes,
Mm.
to go the localization route. For example, like Shein, for example. The thing is, I just realized that the company that just did that currently had a collaboration with one of South Africa's top artists, if that is the case. The brand Steve
Mm.
Maiden had a brand ambassador with Oscar Mbo, and then they had a range that is dedicated or made by Oscar Mbo, whatever the case may be. I'm not quite too sure with the details, but it's a clothing brand from Orkant overseas, and then its attempt of localizing um, its brand in South Africa is them partnering with a local influencer, not a per se influencer. Well, he is an influencer and an artist, a DJ, wada. But like, is it wise
Mm.
for companies like Shein, your Temu to go that same as they are big internationally, but like, won't it be for them to um, go that route like the Steve Maiden has done?
Mm. Nowadays, truly speaking, it's very wise, Nkamo, if you localize it, though it's always a challenge, especially with resources, because remember, they are not only serving South Africa, but they are serving a number of countries as well. So it means that if they are going to localize content for South Africa, it means that they are also going to localize content for Ghana, for Uganda, for Venezuela, for Brazil, and in each and every country that they are there. Localization is a good strategy because it creates a sense of belonging. So the moment you come across South African content on Shein, you would feel as if Shein knows you at personal level. It's psychological. And all of a sudden you get loyal to Shein. You'll be like, oh, this Shein is close to my identity. Shein is close to home. So it helps a lot. Coca-Cola has done that, with most of their campaigns. Remember when Coca-Cola used to um, customize their cans with people's names?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You come across the cane written Sipesihle or written Zemzem, or this South Africa popular name. That's also part of, you know, localization. So localization helps because it gives you as a customer a sense of belongingness. Then as a brand, it gives you a sense of approval. All of a sudden you feel like, oh, they approve us because we are using their influencers. We are using their celebrities. We are using their politicians. We are using their community leaders and stuff like that. So it does help a lot to localize. You know, it's the same thing with you, Nkamo. I'll give you an example. If you were to date a Portuguese woman right now who speaks English fluently, and you also speak English fluently, but you know very well that she is Portuguese. She is from Portugal. English is just a medium that you guys are connecting so that you understand each other. Think about how you would feel if you go out of your way to practice how to greet someone or how to say I love you in Portuguese, then you come and say to her. How is she going to feel?
So it will make her feel like you
Mm,
care about her culture, you care
exactly.
about you trying to be relevant to her language,
Mm,
whatever. You dedicating yourself into learning more about her culture.
like you're investing yourself into her more. So it's the same thing with companies. Yeah. Lindy, I know in your heart you're saying, yes, I'm the king of Mcholo, guys. Don't worry. Eh? I want you to understand it better. So these are the things that you also need to feel like that way, like these people went their way, to think about our local celebrities, to think about influencers in this country, think about Nike, think about Adidas, all these multinational organizations. The moment they localize their content, their products, make them more South African, it becomes so cool. Think about BMW when they use Esther Mahlangu. Do you know about these guys?
So what did
Not
you say about
particularly,
Esther?
sir. Sorry.
Guys, do you know Esther Mahlangu?
Yes.
Let me search.
Who is Esther Mahlangu
She's a develop,
Matapelo?
she's a developed old lady or old
Yes.
grandmother who draws and do like art design, and she is also, I don't know, they know you Yolanda or something like that from it's from somewhere broadcast of same. It's like her grandmother, like she's very good. She even did Albani designer. She's even doing painting designer for she did it for PM, but when she started doing it, that made people to, it raises their customer, say, I don't know, segment. People started wanting PM more. I don't know, it was where all aware. I don't know if I make sense.
Yes, you do. You do. I just wanted them to understand, the use of local people and how, because Esther Mahlangu does not represent only herself. She would represent the whole world of developed people as well as South Africa. We know that BMW is a German. It's a German brand, right? That's why we always call it a German machine. Then all of a sudden, you have got someone who is representing you, who have been considered by BMW to do this. So it means that South Africans, especially those who rally behind Esther Mahlangu, and the developed people, when they see their culture on BMW, they would have that sense of belongingness. I don't know if you can see my screen, guys.
Yes, we can.
So you can see Esther Mahlangu BMW 7 Series. Let's see if it's the one that was. Um, can you hear the sound, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, let me work on the sound. And I see there's a hand up.
So yeah, it's me. Is it wise as a digital marketer if, let's say, you see a gap within a company, maybe let's say it just penetrated into a market, or it has been existing but is not growing in a way, and then you as a freelancer or someone who's outside the organization and just had a chance to talk to their owners or whatever, is it wise for you to pitch to them about localizing their company,
Yeah,
if regardless of it, if it is from South Africa or it's not from South Africa?
yes, it is. That's why we are teaching you guys how to pitch through your F3.
Okay.
So yes, it is. Definitely it is.
75. French artists Hervé
Can
Paulet
you hear the sound now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
commissioned Alexander Calder to make the first BMW art car, which we know as There's a saying I heard, and that it's cars can never be art, because for something to be art, it must have no purpose other than itself. But that was a different story for BMW when they commissioned the first art car in 1975. French artist Hervé Poulain commissioned Alexander Calder to make the first BMW art car, which we know as the 3-liter CSL. This car went on to compete at the Le Mans endurance race, and this was also the start for BMW's history with art cars. Traditionally, BMW art cars were all race cars. The 3-liter CSL went to go on and compete in the Le Mans endurance. But in 1991, when Esther Mahlangu was commissioned to do the first art car as a female, that traditional design was unique. And that carried all the way when they asked her to do another design in 2017 with this, the 750 Ally. With this 750 Ally being the latest creation between BMW and Mum Esther Mahlangu, I had the privilege and opportunity of sitting down with her and asking her just a little bit more about what she does and how she created this beautiful masterpiece. Mama Esther, thank you for taking time to interview and just to answer a few questions, just a little bit more about you. I think the first thing I want to begin with.
Guys, did you hear him how he addressed Esther Mahlangu there?
Yes, sir.
He said, Mama Esther. Did you hear that?
Yes, sir, we did.
That's localization, because in Western countries, don't call someone Mama's Vanivan. You call them directly. Hey, when I'm a tapelo, you know?
With is, where did your love for art and painting begin as an artist?
Ngibelethe ngayo ke mna. Ngibelethe ngayo ugwaloku. Ngibelethe ngakho ngisuka nakho phasi. Bokhokho bo-grandmother and mother to paint. Yes, I learned her home. My English is not so good. Yes, my grandmother and my mother always teach me to paint. I was 10 years old when I started painting.
So my next question is, what made you devote yourself fully to the Ndebele art as opposed to doing other things growing up when you were younger in the village?
Ngikhule naso. Ngikhula nje ngikhula naso. Sangena ehliziyweni. Ngikho ngingafuna ukusilahla nje. Basilahlile bonke mina ngibhalelekise ngoba ngiyasithanda sikhethu.
I want to speak a little bit more about your artwork and your painting. Tell me a little bit more about what you use to paint your artwork on, let's say.
Okay, guys, I think you got the gist of this, because I was just a bit worried that some of you guys did not know who Esther Mahlangu is. So I just wanted you to give a brief snapshot of who Esther Mahlangu is and what she does. And you know, BMW is not only in South Africa, guys. This is a global brand, you know, originally from Germany. They do have huge markets in America and other countries. Yet here you have someone having the Ndebele imprint on the car. You know, it's localization. It means that people you know, surrounding Mahlangu, you guys as South Africans, you also need to rally behind it. Even if there was someone who did not care about BMW, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, BMW think about us South Africans. Now I'm going to buy it. Where's if you're in Ndebele? Primonia. Is Esther not your grandmother, Paul? Can you share the surname?
No, no, she's not.
But you are Mahlangu, right?
Yes.
Okay, I know. I've been asked several times if, you know, President Kamuzu Banda of Malaya was my relative or not, because he's a Banda. Yes, Matapelo?
Sir, I want to ask something. I'm sorry to ask this. When you say when you put it like BM wanted to be local with us, they use someone local, like someone we all know. Is it the same strategy that goes with Kentucky Town? What KFC is doing? I don't know if anyone here knows about Kentucky Town. Like it's been, I think it's been 2 years if I'm not mistaken. KFC has this concept during between August until September, August until October. I'm not sure where there's a Kentucky town. It's called Kentucky Town,
I've
where
come
like
across that several times. Yeah, can you please elaborate on it?
it's like they Kentucky Town. There's meals that we don't usually get from KFC. You know,
Mm.
other meals are from. It's like I was speaking to this other girl who does an op. She's I know her. She's an opa in Asia. She says in now it's also their Kentucky Town season in Asia. But now in Asia they showcasing things from us from here in South Africa, like abo streetwise too, with
Mm.
pap, it's
Yes,
usually not their kind of meal. Whereby here in South Africa we
for
also
doing
getting
Asian
things.
things. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
think last year we even had Uncle Waffle something like this, just different things that are not usually there in the menu. They are limited, because it's
Mm.
Kentucky Town. Is it them trying to make other people, like making Asia people in South Africa fall in love with KFC or wanna buy KFC? Is that a strategy they're going, like localizing? I don't know. Am I asking a right question? I don't know if I'm making sense
Yeah,
what I'm asking.
I do get what you mean. But remember,
Mm.
regardless of South Africa having Asian people or Asia having South African people, they can still continue that practice. So here it's part of localization. They're just showcasing the locals. What is it that is being eaten outside the geographical areas of South Africa? I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Oh yeah,
Especially
yes, yes,
should the South African then consider to love that. So they are not necessarily trying to cater for Asians who are in South Africa, but they are also trying to showcase that we serve in other countries, and in other countries this is what others are eating in case you might like it.
Oh, okay.
That's how you
Because
see even with cars. There are
yeah.
some models that are available in South Africa, but they're not available in other countries, vice versa. Do you know that? Be it your Ford, you see that there's an American version of a Ford Ranger and a South African version of Ford Ranger.
Oh, at first I thought other cars are not in South Africa because of
Hmm.
speed. But okay.
Yeah, there are many factors, honestly. There are many factors, but some factors also include cultural norms. What if speed in America is part of their culture? They do car racing and stuff like that. Then in South Africa, it's not. So some things they're not just black and white. That's what I'm trying to say. It becomes tricky, and that's also how we adopt things, and that's how other people adopt our things as well. So it is always crucial to consider localization. Then cultural customization. This involves tailoring marketing content, products, and strategies to align with specific cultural values, norms, and behaviors of target audience. This goes beyond just language, as we spoke with localization. So it includes symbols, colors, messaging to resonate with local traditions, beliefs, and social practices. So cultural customization ensures that marketing efforts are relevant and appealing to the target market, fostering a stronger connection with customers. By respecting and reflecting the cultural context of the audience, business can enhance customer experience, increase engagement, and build long-term loyalty. So it is not a must, guys, to culturally customize. However, ignoring cultural nuances can lead to misunderstanding, misinterpretations, and negative perceptions, which can hinder brand acceptance and customer loyalty. While it may not be strictly mandatory, cultural customization significantly enhances effectiveness of marketing strategies and can be crucial for success in the global and multicultural markets. We have seen it with so many brands, guys. What happens with employees on 16th June, guys? Most employees, abantu abasebenzayo, you see most of them wearing school uniforms. Am I lying?
No, sir.
And it's not a must. But if they do not allow that to happen, all of a sudden they can be accused of many things, especially, for example, if it's a white company, they can be accused of so many things. What happens right now in August is it's a women's month. What happens next month in September? It's a heritage month. You'd see some companies on their entire website. The designs have got some heritage paintings, maybe Ndebele or Zulu things. They've got things that symbolize the heritage to show that we recognize our customers, that they've got, backgrounds, they've got a heritage that they are celebrating. If you do not do that, you may be seen as someone who's ignorant of things that are happening in your customers' lives. And that limits the connection between you and the customer. So it's always good to understand where customers are coming from. It's always good to understand how things are done. For example, one thing that I've realized in the communities that I come from, versus the community that I'm in now, is that people react differently whenever someone dies. Where I come from, when someone dies, we say, my condolences, may his soul rest in peace, may God comfort you during these difficult times. That's what I've always known. That's what has always been enshrined in me even growing up. But then with the cultural groups that I'm in, especially at church, it's white community, not in a bad way. Whenever someone dies, you hear something like, now she's happy in the heaven with God. You don't even hear my condolences there. So you need to be careful now on what you are going to say because it can be offensive to them. For example, if you say rest in peace, it's like you are saying that, yeah, that person deserves to rest in peace, if you get what I mean. So you need to understand the cultural context in which you engage with your customers. If you do not do that, they end up being a mismatch and a gap that other competitors can then quickly fill in. Remember, there's always someone on standby to quick fill in if you are not doing your job. Even in the business world, if you are Coca-Cola, if you are sleeping on duty, Pepsi is going to come up with something good and snatch your customers away. The same way in Mjolo. I know most of you guys are relaxing. That's why Batuna very chang is stin after stin, because someone is on standby. So you need to understand the cultural context, the values, the social norms by seasons. Some are determined by culture, some are determined by by the moon. You can actually know through the moon that if the moon is, in the middle, the Ndebeles are going to be doing this. Or if the moon is like this, the Zulus are going to be doing this. But also remember, with most people who are in urban areas, like you guys, most of your cultural, you are culturally lost. You do not understand most of your cultures. Do you guys understand your cultures where you come from? Them?
Most things I understand, but other things I don't understand.
Mm. Okay. Culturally, do you know that you're expected to cook at home as a girl child?
Yes, that one is an obvious thing. So
Not to
even
everyone.
to wash clothes and stuff,
Mm.
it's not a
Right?
man's job.
Yeah. Do you know that culturally there are also ways in which you are supposed to sit as a girl child?
Yes, always cross your legs.
Were you supposed to say it though? How? Zem.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that's wonderful. But guys, you get what I mean. So those things you also need to understand from a digital marketing point of view. You need to know, the customers that you are serving, like what are their cultures, what are the things that they are expected and what are the things that they are not expected. Because if you do not understand, it becomes an issue. Guys, I don't know those who stay in Pretoria. I think it was in Pretoria, if I remember very well. There was a guy who was wearing a Zulu attire. Was it a Zulu attire? And I think it was in September. I can't remember. Who was chased away by the mall security management. Are you aware of that, guys?
No, sir, I'm not aware.
Yes, please Google it. I think it was a big issue, and
No, sir.
it was a big issue, guys. And I think even EFF opportunistically, got in touch with it. There was a guy who was wearing traditional attire. Then he got kicked out into the mall saying that is not wearing appropriate. Let me just search it for you guys. Men chased out of the mall or in or I'll be quick. All right, let's see if you guys can see my screen. Guys, I really encourage you to read widely and try by all means to immerse yourself in current affairs. There are so many things that are happening in the country that you can always think about whenever you are doing your digital marketing and stuff like that. Can you see it, guys? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
A video has surfaced of a man dressed in traditional Ndebele attire being told by a Gauteng shopping center manager to leave as what he was wearing was inappropriate. So all of a sudden there was a huge, there was a huge war cry from people saying that we are not being considered as locals and stuff like that. And they were even caused to boycott. They were even caused to boycott the mall, that black people must not go to that mall and stuff like that. As you can see here, the men also wanted to sue, So there are many legal implications, social backlash that can end you into trouble as a brand if you don't consider about these things. It's easy for a brand all of a sudden to be affected by the cancel culture because they do not embrace the cultures of people and the social norms and so on. So these are things that you need to understand why it is crucial as a brand, to consider cultural customization in their promotion of services and their engagement with customers. So localization involves adapting content, products, and strategies to fit the language and cultural preferences of a certain group. Then cultural customization goes further as it looks at cultural values as we discussed. And ignoring these practices can lead to miscommunication and reduced market impact, making them essential strategies for successful international marketing. Are there any questions, guys? Any comments? Something that you need to raise that you're not aware? Remember, there are so many things that we are also learning in this class that you're not aware. I wasn't aware that Steve Madden was using a local influencer, for example. Is there anything, guys, that you've come across that would say that this is part of localization or this is part of cultural customization?
So can I ask something not based on local customer? Like like there's something I wanna know. Back to Tuesday, ne? Remember Tuesday we were talking about how as a business you when you write something out there it's better than not putting out there. Like for example, we did say that other podcasts they write not underage. We even said alcohol, they say no underages and everything. Does it mean that even in business you need to like be specific of for example, if I'm giving you guys, if I'm saying I have a business, let me use them as business. For example, I them was shared to us some posts that business is out there, the laundry business. I posted it and people were asking me, but I didn't have enough information because the only thing I could tell them was, can you WhatsApp the number there? Can you call the number there? Because they were looking for location, if because it says limited places in Pretoria, and then people I know are from Pretoria, so they wanted to know if it accommodate them. Is it, do you lose customers because you didn't put some information out there, or is it good for you? For example,
Yeah,
we spoke about condoms, that condoms they don't say underage or no underage. Is it good
yes.
for your business or is it bad for your business?
To some extent, it can imply both, Matapelo, honestly, because sometimes they say that too much information is too much, like too much content, you can't reveal everything. But sometimes if you omit crucial information, for example, information on condoms, assuming that everyone can, get engaged in intersexual course, that can also be dangerous for customers because you are trying to say that if you are Durex or if you are Trust or if you are Lovers, whatever the condom brand is, anyone can use that condom, including a 3-year-old son or a 9-year-old child. While it's culturally we know that inkonzo yenziwa ngabantu abadala, right? So if you do not say
Yes.
no under 18 on a condom, it becomes tricky. But there are some things whereby you can't over reveal because remember, over revealing also means that you are exposing yourself to your competitors.
Okay, I'm still confused, sir, because I'm asking this question based on our assignment actually, because
Mm,
I just go back to my point, because on our assignment we need to make youth aware, and doing my research, for this insurance, I have noticed that something not we, me myself, I'm speaking for me, I didn't notice is that I started driving when I was 16 and I started having my learners there, my driving learners there. But the alcohol always says above 18. So now
mm,
am I also accommodating people that are under 16 because I might be insuring my car and
mm,
include my kids to be under this insurance for this
mm,
car, and they might be I want them to be aware of drinking and driving. But now the question is, as the Kasi insurance, why am I saying? Am I saying kids don't drink, but at the same time the alcohol says above 18? And
mm.
look, sir, I'm just confused. Never mind,
I
forget
get
it.
you.
Never mind.
I get you. That's why I ask students to be strategic. That's why I ask students to be creative. You can always be creative. Remember, in the campaign it says people are 16 to 35. Then
Yes, sir, that's
you've got research. Listen, then you've got research that is telling you that people are actually drinking at 16, right? You need to motivate in your presentation that we can have this campaign 2 years earlier to capture those who are going to reach 18. There's Isaka, there's an African proverb, I think I know it in the real Zulu, saying that isigoko sigoqwa sisemanzi, like catching them while they're still young. Can we have to wait for them to turn 18 or can we have to catch them before they? So it's all about your strategy, honestly, and how you motivate it, Matapel.
oh, okay, sir.
Because research, and if you've got verifiable research telling you that this is happening, telling you that, in fact, condom users are people who are below 18, then you need to
Mm.
inform the directors, or the colleagues in marketing that this is what we have to be doing. It depends with how you motivate whatever that you are saying.
Oh, okay. So
Are you happy now?
no, I am. Sorry, sir. Sorry for asking about the assignment. Sorry. Yes, I'm happy.
It helps because it also contributes to others. You know, it always helps. Are there any questions, guys? Lindy, I haven't heard your voice. Lindy, and don't check up on me.
Say.
Hey, but I never know. Maybe someone else who logged in with your account. There's hacking nowadays. You know? So I need to hear you even coughing. Humphrey, want to test
I don't know what I say wants from us.
Okay, guys, let's look at designing the information architecture. This is going to be the last lesson for us today, designing the information architecture. Humphrey, I want to rest until I hear your voice. I think maybe the problem is the mic, because I see that you are saying something, but I can't hear you. Can you hear him, guys?
Not at all, sir. Not at all.
But I can see the mic is on.